All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So Blizzard's going to be a massive part of Xbox with the whole ABK deal going through and all of the IPs that Blizzard have on PC, on mobile, and hopefully a lot more of those coming over to console like World of Warcraft. And going forward, we still haven't really heard about exactly how Xbox is going to be handling Activision Blizzard, their employees, and their studios. We know that they did their reorganization and restructure, and there's just more layers of Xbox executives now to go through before hitting Phil at the very top. We know Bobby Kotick is going to be gone at the end of this year, and Blizzard is going to be under the leadership of Mike Ybarra, the president there. And we got some pretty interesting information that I think is going to be great for Blizzard going forward and hopefully get us some more IPs that we haven't seen in a while, like StarCraft. So this is an article here from Bloomberg, and they talk about what happened when Xbox visited Blizzard, and it turned out that it was a lot different than what they had expected. So we'll go through it. It says here, on October 13th, after a protracted battle with regulators, Microsoft had completed its $69 billion acquisition of the gaming studio's parent, Activision Blizzard. 2 weeks later, Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft Xbox, and his lieutenants were inbound. And when Blizzard heard about them coming to visit the studio, it says here that the leaders scrambled to compile a PowerPoint presentation as they would have in days past, detailing their vision for the future and the products that they had in development. But when Phil Spencer showed up, they realized that he wasn't interested in actually talking business. Here is what John Haidt, the general manager of World of Warcraft, says. He says, "What they were trying to communicate to us was really wanting to get to know us. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're not coming in with a master plan. How can we help you?" It was awesome. So I think that's very telling as to kind of what they're doing. They're continuing along the lines of the whole Bethesda acquisition, being hands off, allowing these companies to essentially be independent. They're a part of Xbox, they're first party Xbox studios, but they're going to be operating and developing games independently and being able to not really be held down by that corporate structure that they currently were under at Activision Blizzard. They talk about it a little further on the article where they had to go through many more layers, and the decision making took a long time because they had to make sure that Bobby Kotick signed off on everything, and we know the downfall of Bobby Kotick and all the stuff that happened under him. So they're sitting there right now under Xbox's leadership, and I'm sure very happy in the situation that they are in. We always talk about this acquisition. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's bad for gaming consolidation. This is going to hurt the gaming industry and all of those types of things. What we've seen so far from Xbox with their acquisitions have been positive. I mean, they've helped gaming. They've helped these studios create stuff that they would have never probably created otherwise, or may have not had the resources to create it, or if they were under another corporation, potentially could have been held back. I always like to go back to studios like Obsidian and Ninja Theory, where Obsidian was able to create a game like Pentiment, have 12 people split off from the major team and make that game. Then there was also Grounded, which nobody saw coming, but obviously Xbox looked at that idea and said, hey, go for it. Let's see what happens. Then you look at Ninja Theory and you look at Bleeding Edge, which is a game that absolutely failed from a commercial perspective. I thought it was a really cool game when it came out, but it failed, and Xbox was still okay with them going ahead and putting that game out just to see how it would do. So Xbox obviously has a pedigree, has a history of allowing studios to take risks, which is when you think about these acquisitions that they are purchasing, that's where a lot of my excitement comes in. And I think a lot of other people's excitement comes in because we get to talk here about an IP that has been dormant for a while. It's a smaller IP at Blizzard, and that is StarCraft. And apparently now they are more optimistic that they're going to be able to create a new StarCraft game. But with that being said, they right now don't have a lot of the employees that worked on the previous StarCraft game, so they may be thinking of bringing this out in a different form. So here is what Mike Ybarra says, first of all, with Phil Spencer. He says, going to Phil and saying, hey, can we do this? I think he would look at me and go, run your studio. I do think our decision-making will be faster. Also talks about StarCraft again here, saying, meanwhile, both fans and employees have lamented the lack of attention for beloved yet less successful games such as the long dormant StarCraft. And they say, under Kotick, many Blizzard staff members with experience developing real-time strategy games left the company. So if the franchise does return, Ybarra hinted that the next generation of the game, or the next iteration of the game, could be in a different genre altogether, which I would honestly kind of be okay just to see what they would come up and develop. I think of a game like Space Marine and Space Marine 2 that's coming out that looks phenomenal. Maybe they go something along those lines, a third person action spin-off of the game. But I also would just love for them to bring out another StarCraft real-time strategy version and revitalize that IP. I never was expecting it to come back, but when we heard the announcement of the acquisition, I had some hope because of what they've done in their history of allowing studios to make other stuff. Ybarra specifically says here, it's not me saying, go make a StarCraft game. I need to have someone who has the vision and passion that comes with the idea, and I'll bet on that team. And this is very similar to what Phil Spencer actually said about jumping into the back catalog of older IPs at Activision Blizzard. He specifically said he wouldn't just do it for profit and to make money, but he would need to have a team that was willing and passionate and wanted to make a game from the back catalog for them to go ahead and do it. And I think I've said this in previous videos, they are probably, like, the developers there and the employees at Activision Blizzard are probably just ecstatic right now that they're under Xbox's leadership and not under the Kotick leadership, not under the Activision leadership, where they were essentially just being pushed to produce games at a faster rate, cut costs, and do all of this type of stuff. They're now under a $2 trillion plus corporation. Their effect on Microsoft, their effect on Xbox's success is much smaller than what the effect would have been on Activision as a whole. They probably have less pressure on them, and there's going to be more ability to take risks. So I feel like the developers and employees there are probably very happy that they will have a chance now to finally present some of these ideas that they had for dormant IPs, older IPs, or brand new games. And I can't wait to see what comes out of them, because the reality is Blizzard and Activision have tons of employees, tons of great developers, tons of incredible technology, and they're going to be able to create some pretty amazing games with, of course, the right leadership. And I mean, can't really say anything bad too much about Phil Spencer. The only knock on him so far has been maybe at times a little bit too hands off. Maybe Xbox needs to step in a bit more, like they should have with Redfall, but it definitely seems like they learned their lesson from that. So can't wait to see what Blizzard creates, and hopefully we'll get some new stuff coming out in the future. Now let's jump over here. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and major discounts looking to be coming over Black Friday going into Christmas, as we got this leak here from the Dutch website Coolblue, which are currently taking pre-orders for an Xbox Series X bundle, including a copy, which includes a copy of Modern Warfare 3, and that's only going to cost 489 euros instead of the normal price of 608 euros. So that's a hefty discount for an Xbox Series X from this Dutch website. So, and we don't know if this is going to span all of Europe. Don't know if this is going to make its way over into North America or not, or if it's specifically for this website here. But to me, that's a pretty damn good deal. And it really shows that we are way past where we were from the first 2 years, where it was almost impossible to get your hands on these consoles. Also interesting because they recently just raised the prices of both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Now we're seeing these massive discounts. So maybe they've found a way to increase their margins and be able to make more money off each console, so that they can go ahead and offer this bundle here, including Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, of course, a first-party Xbox game. And PlayStation 5 also has a bundle up as well from Amazon Germany for pre-order, and this is for 499 euros. Same bundle, fat PS5 Slim with Modern Warfare 3. We've also seen leaks of a similar bundle here. I don't think it's for that same price, but a PS5 Slim bundle that also comes with Modern Warfare 3. But I mean, for $100 off, for whatever you be saving off of these prices in Europe, I'm sure people will be more than happy to save that $100 and get that fat PS5 with Modern Warfare 3. So pretty cool. And I'm sure going into Black Friday, we're going to see a lot more deals for these consoles. We're at that time in the generation where you have more bundled deals. You have the consoles slashing the prices during big times of the year where people are going out and buying. Christmas obviously coming up, so hopefully there will be some cool deals and bundles to look for here in North America. Now, let's talk about this because this is going to have a huge effect, I think, on gaming in the future. I think it's going to be very cool. There's obviously going to be hiccups. It is somewhat concerning in certain ways, but it is that Microsoft is bringing AI characters to Xbox. They are partnering with a company called In World AI to create Xbox games, or an Xbox development tool for generative AI characters, stories, and more. So it says here Microsoft is partnering with InWorld to develop Xbox tools that will allow developers to create AI powered characters, stories, and quests. It's a multi year partnership which will include an AI design co-pilot system that Xbox developers can use to create detailed scripts, dialogue trees, quest lines, and more. And Haiyan Zhang, the general manager of gaming AI at Xbox, says this: at Xbox, we believe that with better tools, creators can make even more extraordinary games. This partnership will bring together InWorld's expertise in working with generative AI models for character development, Microsoft's cutting-edge cloud-based AI solutions, including Azure Open AI Service, Microsoft researches technical insights into the future of play, and Team Xbox's strengths in revolutionizing accessible and responsible creator tools for all developers. So, I mean, the key thing here is with better tools, creators can make even more extraordinary games, which is absolutely the case. The issue with Xbox and consoles this generation so far have been that a lot of the developers kind of ignore what's available. I mean, it's more important here with Xbox with their full RDNA 2, everything that they have in there. We just saw the thing with the mesh shaders with Alan Wake 2 that Remedy used it and it looked great. You think about things like FSR 3 and all of these tools that will make games look and run better. It's up to the developers to utilize these tools. This is just another tool that they would have to learn, and they would have to be able to put it into their games and the game actually use it properly so gamers have a great experience. The question would be, will they use it, and when are they going to start putting this stuff into games? But the partnership itself with this AI stuff sounds extremely interesting. You can use AI to create scripts, dialogue trees, quest lines, and more. They say it's kind of like Chat GPT and the Bing Chat AI, where they can respond to simple queries and give you different answers and different explanations depending on the questions that you do ask. It specifically says here that InWorld has been working on AI NPCs that react to questions from a player, much like how ChatGPT or Bing Chat responds to natural language queries. These AI NPCs can respond in unique voices and can include complex dialogue trees or personalized dynamic storylines within a game. So that sounds pretty incredible. I'm not going to lie. I think it will revolutionize gaming because it will take away a ton of the cost to do this, to hire people to write all of the stuff, to the time, the resources, and if they can just do it in a faster time frame, and it can actually be complex, and it gives you lots of different choices and lots of different outcomes, we could see some pretty incredible stuff going into games. Just let's say you're walking down the street of a world that you're in, and you go up to a random NPC. That NPC may actually have hundreds or tons of different responses, and everybody may be getting different responses, and that could just be a random NPC that has nothing even to do with the story, whereas you don't really see that right now within games. You may go up to an NPC and they say like the same line over and over again. Stuff like that could just really immerse you into these worlds of these games. Obviously, the downside of this would be on the employee side of things. There'd probably be a lot of people that could be out of a job, and what they work on for all these big AAA games won't be needed anymore. So that could be definitely a big negative in the industry itself. The one thing here is it's pretty obvious what's happening. It's costing more to develop games. The companies are trying to find any way they can to cut down their cost and bring down the total development amount that they have to put in to create these huge entire worlds. So something like AI will definitely alleviate that. I mean, you just take a look at what's been happening at PlayStation over the last couple of weeks, where they're going through layoffs. They're trying to cut a lot of fat or whatever you would want to call it in order to increase their overall margins and their overall profit. So you're going to see a lot more technology going in there and taking over people's jobs. That's obviously the major downfall, but I just do think if utilized correctly, we could see some crazy stuff in the future. and the immersion within the worlds that we are playing in may be uh, bigger and better than we've seen. But again, hopefully it doesn't affect too many people who will be doing this as their profession. Now, a couple of smaller things here I just want to quickly go over before I end the video. This here, there is an update to Microsoft's Edge browser on the Xbox and stuff. If you ever use the Edge browser, I've used it actually quite a bit. And it's so annoying when you get pop-up ads nonstop if you're trying to stream something and you click play and then you get this annoying pop-up ad and it comes up maybe multiple times. Looks like that is potentially going to be going away soon. We have Tom Warren here saying Microsoft's Edge browser on Xbox is getting a new feature that lets you block embedded content that negatively impacts performance while browsing. So hopefully that will help with some of the pop-ups, some of the embedded ads, all that type of stuff that takes away from the overall experience of actually using that browser if you're somebody that does use it at all. The new feature here says a random subset of users will be able to try an experimental Microsoft Edge feature to block embedded content that negatively impacts performance while browsing. And then it's being right now flighted within the Alpha Skip Ahead program. Now, we also have this talk about, because this is a big negative for the Xbox Series S and for gamers in Brazil. We talked about this, I think, twice last week or the week before that, that there was that they were planning on increasing, Xbox was planning on increasing the price of the Series S by about $200, which, I mean, kind of makes this Series S irrelevant, I would say. If you were spending 200 more right now, I guess $399 is the price tag in the United States. If you're spending $599, there's literally no point at all picking up a Series S. You're just going to go ahead and get an Xbox Series X. There was news that they were going to increase the price, and then they reduced it back to normal price, and people thought that they had heard the outrage from the fans, but that wasn't the case. And they say Microsoft has now officially changed the confirmed the price hike for the Series S to 3,599 Brazilian real. So obviously this is going to have huge effects. I've seen many threads of people very angry about this, and I mean rightfully so, because this is a pretty big price raise. People are saying that it prices them out of being able to pick up a console. The Series S was the only one they could afford, and now they can't afford it anymore. And not really 100% sure why they did this. There have been no comments from Xbox, but the only logical thing I could think of is just they are pricing it because of the economy there, the inflation, and there's just something that they've ran their numbers, they've ran their analytics, and to them, raising it this amount, even if they lose a certain amount of customers, will not have a huge effect on their business. So it's unfortunate, though. It's definitely unfortunate. I hope Xbox does explain why they did this. I doubt that they will. And maybe this will be something that's temporary that does eventually come back down. Now, finally, if you're playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, I did just finish the campaign. And I have to say, after finishing the campaign, that 4 out of 10 that IGN gave the game is even more absurd now. It's not the best campaign in the world. I'm more in like the 6 to 7 out of 10 range, but right off of the bat, the graphics, the sound, the gunplay, the gameplay itself is still very good. There's too many open missions, in my opinion, and the campaign overall is short. That would be my quick summary review of it, but the 4 out of 10 from IGN is absurd. But if you do like the game and you do want to have it as a background, Xbox has released a new dynamic Modern Warfare 3 background here, and you can see it. I like the graphics that they have for Call of Duty. I like the artwork. I think this looks pretty cool. Got Price in the front there, and I believe that's Makarov behind him, and you have the red and the floating stuff coming up from the bottom. So I think it looks great. It's a nice dynamic background. I think the dynamic backgrounds are pretty cool that Xbox has put out. So they put it out with all their first party games pretty much. And as we know, Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Call of Duty franchise is first party Xbox now. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.